Yeah, first of all, it's amazing to me because no one had ever heard of Jay Norvell and the Colorado State football program until now. So
heck of a way to get attention.
Yeah, maybe I like your question. Is he smart like a fox? Maybe this is the most brilliant strategy to counter the Deion effect that we've ever seen, to talk trash back to Mr. Sanders.
Well, if you're wondering what we're talking about, here is Coach Jay Norvell. He's the head coach of Colorado State. They play Deion Sanders' Colorado Buffaloes on Saturday night. He was appearing on his own coach's show, and you're going to hear it's like in front of a live audience, so you might hear some people. Yeah, he went after Deion.
You know, we had to do a bunch of ESPN videos, and it was great. I loved it. But our kids came out of those videos really with a chip on their shoulder. They're tired of all that stuff. They really are tired of it. And I sat down with ESPN today, and I don't care if they hear it in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off, and I said, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me. So, you know, they're not going to like us no matter what we say or do. It doesn't matter, okay? That's just how I feel about it.
It's your show.
I'm just tired of I'm tired of all that stuff. It's just, it's, and I know everybody else is too.
Well, I don't know about everybody, considering Deion Sanders and the Buffaloes have gotten more attention. You have both Fox and ESPN are going to be there for the game. I mean, everyone is kind of at least interested in what Deion's doing.
But they might be like the coach who might be rooting against Deion's brash style, you know. So I think it's like a pro wrestler. Like I think you're getting a lot of people who are sort of hate watching Colorado as well. I don't think he's alone. I think all the old school coaches are probably having a hard time watching Deion. Don't you think? You know, this guy's 60 years old. I knew nothing about him, obviously. Yeah. But I think there are a lot of old school coaches who do not appreciate anything Deion is doing.
Well, but Deion himself would say, I'm old school. Now, it doesn't seem like it, but he said in the way he coaches and how he talks to his players and stuff like that is very old school.
Yeah, but it's old school to have 68 transfers.
Well, that's very new. I think he means in his spirit. But obviously, you know, that's Deion's, that's his opinion of himself. The outside opinion is that he is opinionated, that he's brash, that he's doing things different. And listen, Deion Sanders with sunglasses on and a hat is how we've consumed Deion Sanders as a famous person for 30 years. That's just his look and his brand. I don't think anyone believes that Deion Sanders does that to be disrespectful. And here comes Jay Norvell to like wag a finger at Deion Sanders to take off your sunglasses and your hat when you're speaking to adults. Listen, this could have been setting up as a trap game for Colorado, maybe because Oregon is looming next week, and that's obviously a huge game. But this has gotten the attention of everybody, and I think it's probably one of the biggest backfires possible. Because I think they're going to get creamed. Yeah. They're already 24-point underdogs. And also on top of it now, I don't know how this like helps you with recruiting or any of that stuff to like personally insult Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I don't know much about how Colorado State's been doing out on the trail. They were 3-9 last year. I haven't probably seen them play since 1996 when they were in the WAC. But I do think, though, you're right. It's getting a lot of attention now. But the thing is, they were going to get killed anyway. Maybe it's reverse psychology. Have you thought about that? You know, because Deion was going to make up something. Why not just give them something and maybe it'll get in their head? I have no idea. This game is irrelevant. I think the bigger point here, though, and you said everyone in the world heard this. Deion's eating up all the oxygen in the room. The fire is burning. This is not going to last. It's just not going to last.
I disagree. I think
if they don't win
this is our reality now.
They don't. I am so unless they beat Oregon or USC. If they lose both those games, you think the fire is going to burn this brightly?
I think now Deion Sanders is the face of college football. Boom. Period. And I don't mean that as a disrespect to Nick Saban, who I would say was the face of college football, or any of the guys who have had a lot more success in college football than Deion. I just think it's the combination of his stardom and what he's done through 2 games. Yes, I know only 2 games, but already how he's captured and captivated our attention. I don't think this is Linsanity. I don't think this is flash in the pan.
So Linsanity.
This isn't Tebow mania. This isn't like one of those things.
Are you going to give me the spread for both USC and Oregon is 14.5 points. If they don't come close in either of those games, do you think game day is going to be there in week 6?
I have no idea.
I know. No, of course you know it's not going to be there.
But even if they are not super successful against those teams.
They'll be popular, but
Deion can still be the face of the sport because every time he talks, he's going to get attention. It's like the Jerry Jones effect with the NFL. The Cowboys can have losing seasons and they're not the Super Bowl champs. They haven't won since the 90s, but Jerry still gets a headline all the time because he's Jerry and because he's charismatic and because he's all these things. Deion has that and was the great player to back it up. They could win, 3 or 4 games this year, and I still think Deion's the face of the sport.
Well, I just think, okay, maybe it's face of the sport, but all this hype definitely dies down if they're not competitive. They need to win games to keep it at this level, right? Do you not agree with that?
Fever pitch, you're right about that. To keep it at a fever pitch,
insanity.
Yes, you have to keep winning. But I think even when they stop winning, like say Oregon and USC beat them or whatever happens when they go through the Pac-12.
If they kill them, then it's different. If they come close in those games, yeah, it's still hot, but I think it's going to cool down tremendously.
I still think Deion is the voice now. And he's the coach now that matters. And I think in college football and definitely college basketball, the coaches are the biggest personalities. Like, we do get to know the players and they stay in our lives for like a year or two, but those guys cycle in and out. The coaches are the ones we associate with programs, and they're the ones who just get a lot of the attention. It happens in both sports in college, on the men's side and the women's side.
Well, I think football is way 500 times more focused on the players because they're there for so much longer, and there's the Heisman, which gets a lot of attention.
That's true.
But I think part of the reason
the Heisman this year could be 2 Colorado guys, could be finalists, and Shedeur and Travis Hunter.
Yeah, be careful about giving out the Heisman in September. It rarely works out that way.
True.
But the other thing, though, is it's been college football preseason. There's been nothing. There's been 2 games that anybody's cared about at all. So you have to remember, this is Deion in a blank slate. And even this week, like if this was next week and the Colorado State coach said this before Notre Dame and Ohio State, nobody would care. I think Deion is taking advantage of the scene right now. Trust me.
Light schedule, you mean? Or
yeah, because it's still a college football preseason. If Notre Dame beats Ohio State last year, then Deion all of a sudden is going to have some competition. I think part of it is there's been nothing happening in the sport. Texas gave them a little run last week, and Texas got the higher rating and the highest rating ESPN's ever had, beating Alabama. But I do think, like, Deion's the thing in September. I don't think it's going to be like this. I don't think it's going to burn nearly as brightly in October. He might be the most popular coach. I will give you that. But I don't think he's going to be so popular that he's like the face of the sport. Like, he's absolutely the face right now.
Yeah.
Unless they really keep winning, which is, forget it. I mean, if they beat USC or Oregon, forget it. That's going to be it's going to be huge. But if he does come down to earth the way the odds are, then I think it's not going to feel like this at all in December.
Yeah, totally disagree. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Because here's the thing with Deion, is that he's the face of college football, and he's going to continue to be the face because of what he's done so far at Colorado, 2 games. And then where's he going next? A bigger program with more eyeballs. Like, we always talk about, oh my God, and look what he's doing at Colorado, a program that won 1 game last year.
Yeah.
And they were nowhere on the national footprint. Say whatever job Deion does take next, it's only going to be more and more and bigger and more power in the sport and all of that stuff. The same thing that Nick Saban has enjoyed. Now, Nick Saban did a lot of winning to get to that power, but still.
And you're saying all this because he beat TCU and Nebraska.
Yep, I am.
And what if Nebraska goes 0-12?
I don't know. That's Nebraska's problem. Yeah. But Deion's already used them for what he needs.
No, I'm being a serious question. Like, I do think Deion's got to keep winning this level to keep up this hype train. The other thing, too, he's not going to have Shedeur when he goes to this new program. So say he took Alabama in 2 years from Nick Saban. Where's he going to get a guy like that?
Well, I think, first of all, you already recruit well by virtue of being Alabama. And secondly, remember what Deion said. I don't think that he was messing around. I don't think he was joking and BSing us when he said they've gotten an absurd amount of inquiries and calls, and people want to come play there. I mean, you can't land a 5-star quarterback who wants to come and play.
But Alabama has nothing but 5-star quarterbacks. I'm just saying this all seemed to work really well this year, that he got Travis Hunter and Shedeur.
Yeah, right.
It's not going to be that easy. Travis Hunter is arguably the most talented player in the sport, who just happens to be tied to Deion.
Right.
And Shedeur is even more closely tied to Deion. I don't know. There is some – that worked out well. You have to admit, he's not going to have a Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders every year to bring to the program.
Okay, but I would say on the flip side, he already got 2 really high-level assistant coaches to come on his staff. One guy, his offensive coordinator, left being head coach
at Kent State.
Okay, but still, he was a head coach somewhere and came to be an offensive coordinator at Colorado, not at Alabama to be under Nick Saban and stuff like that. So I think that he's going to continue not just to recruit high-level players, but also the high-level coaches. So whatever Deion may lack in X's and O's, how he's been able to sell the and I don't even know if he does, by the way, but even the way he sold the program is selling coaches to come on board. So he's going to have this wealth and deep well of talented coaches who want to be a part of it too.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, this Sean Lewis guy, he's
definitely getting a head coaching job, right?
Oh, I just say he got to keep him as long as he better hope that Sean Lewis is his offensive coordinator for a while. I don't know.
That guy's going to be so gone just because this is such a high-profile position. It's like whoever becomes Nick Saban's offensive coordinator goes on and gets another head coaching job. Like, it's going to have that same effect.
Will you agree with me at least that the way Deion is placed in the college football world right now, coverage, like he can't dominate the headlines like this for this long? Do you really think that he's going to be like the only headline? I mean, I can't even think of what the second headline is in college football. Well, Texas
Texas winning, Miami winning, and that was really on the back burner.
He's going to have to share the stage. Miami winning, nobody cares about that. I'm just saying, like, he's going to have to share the stage. I mean, Caleb Williams is still in the sport.
I know people a lot of the country couldn't even watch Caleb Williams' first game.
Because they haven't started their season yet. Yeah. I mean, this preseason cupcake crap is going to end at some point, and players are going to have to play. I mean, there's so many. J.J. McCarthy in Michigan is going to start to get attention. Harbaugh is going to start to get attention. There's a lot that could happen where it can't be like the sport is Deion right now. It's not going to be like that all year long. It's just unless they go undefeated. There's just no way.